I had just finished tightening the last screw on my new smart lock when the symphony of sirens started blaring down my street. Yeah, that's right, sirens. For a split second, I figured maybe someone was having a heart attack, but then I looked up and there she was, Karen, charging across my front yard in her pink tracksuit, phone waving in the air like a torch. She was hollering so loud the birds actually went silent, probably thinking even they didn't want to get dragged into this mess. Turns out, she'd called 911 on me, for putting a smart lock on my own pool fence, while she was trespassing in my yard to inspect the community property. I wish I could say I was surprised, but honestly, Karen always did have a knack for making herself the center of the universe. The absurdity of it all almost made me laugh. Almost. I just kept my cool, because I'd learned the hard way that the crazier she acted, the more obvious it became who the real problem was. So here comes the sheriff, strolling out of his cruiser, hand resting on his belt, already wearing that "what now" expression. Earlier that morning, I'd been feeling pretty proud of myself. I'd finally installed a new pool security system, synced up to my phone, automatically locked itself every night, even sent me alerts if anyone tried to climb over. We'd had issues with neighborhood kids, even one neighbor's dog taking a dip, so I figured the lock would be the end of it. Little did I know my main trespasser wasn't a dog, but the queen of the HOA herself. Last week, she'd stormed into my yard claiming my pool umbrella was too festive. This week, she saw the new lock, probably thought I'd installed a drawbridge, and called in the cavalry. "Sir, is there a problem here?" the sheriff asked. Karen points at me, all dramatic. "He's putting unauthorized electronics on shared property. That pool is for everyone." I handed the officer my deed, which made it crystal clear the pool and the fence were smack in the middle of my land. Karen's face dropped for a second, but she snapped right back. "He's endangering children. What if they get trapped?" The sheriff just raised an eyebrow. Trapped inside his own pool. I about lost it right there, but I held it together. As the officer started checking out the fence, Karen stormed right past him, stomping around my yard, yanking on the gate, until she set off the lock's alarm. A sharp chirp echoed through the yard, and she nearly jumped out of her shoes. "See," she cried, "it's aggressive." The sheriff just rubbed his temples. "Ma'am, you realize you're trespassing right now?" She tried to argue, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water, but nothing came out that made sense. "This is a community concern," she insisted, waving her phone. "You can't put dangerous tech on shared structures." I just looked her in the eye, calm as can be. "This fence has been mine since day one. HOA never paid for it, never maintained it, and sure doesn't own it. But hey, you want to help repaint? I'll consider it." The sheriff snorted at that, but Karen wasn't done. "Technology is dividing people," she declared, like she was giving a TED Talk. "It's supposed to keep us connected." I shot back. "Well, you're here, aren't you?" The sheriff chuckled out loud. Karen demanded a citation, but the sheriff just shrugged. For what? Improving private property. That only made her madder. "I'm calling the HOA lawyer," she snapped. "Perfect," I said. "Maybe they can explain how you ended up inside my fence yelling about boundaries." The sheriff asked me to demo the lock. I showed him the fingerprint access, the override, all up to code. He nodded, impressed. Karen tried one last time, clinging to community aesthetics. I told her, "Karen, if your aesthetic depends on my fence, that's a different problem." As the sheriff left, Karen tried to save face, pretended to trip, and fell straight into my flower bed. I offered a hand. She swatted it away, stormed off, muttering about emergency HOA meetings. The sheriff just said, "You got cameras?" I grinned. "Plenty." He nodded. "Keep them rolling. I got a feeling this ain't over." He was right. The next morning, every mailbox got a flyer, "Emergency HOA meeting, unauthorized security devices," on the agenda. I just laughed. The war over one smart lock had begun. At the clubhouse, the place smelled like old coffee and overpolished wood. Karen took her spot at the front like a judge in a courtroom, firing up the drama. "This resident has installed unauthorized technology." I raised my hand. "Karen, that fence doesn't border shared property. It borders my pool." Murmurs all around. She ignored me, pressing the safety angle. "What if a child can't open the gate in an emergency?" I explained that's exactly why the lock exists. It exceeds code. An older neighbor, Gus, piped up, We managed fine without smartphones too, Karen. Should we ban those next? The room laughed. I pulled out the HOA bylaws, highlighted the bit about private systems. Even the secretary admitted it was accurate. Karen tried to pivot. These rules are outdated. We'll amend them. I told her, you can't change rules retroactively to punish one neighbor. That's not governance. That's personal vendetta. The crowd started to turn. Karen tried one more trick, fear. It makes the neighborhood look hostile. Nobody's buying a house based on my pool fence, I shot back. If they are, they probably don't want you climbing it at night. Karen barked about offensive technology. I asked, offensive to who, burglars? Laughter erupted. She looked desperate. Word had already gotten out about her trespassing. These accusations are lies, she cried. I was investigating a safety hazard. From the back, someone yelled, at 2 in the morning, and everyone lost it. Karen tried to end the meeting early, but I called her out. HOA Code 7C says emergency meetings stay open for policy changes. The vice president confirmed it, and Karen's face just fell. She called a vote to require HOA approval for smart locks. Only 2 people supported her. Motion failed. Her grip on power slipped right there. She stormed out, threatening, "This isn't over." I smiled, not mocking the board. "Karen, just protecting my property. You made it a spectacle." The secretary adjourned the meeting, and I could feel the tide shifting. But Karen was just getting started. That night, my phone pinged with a security alert. Someone was trying to access the lock. The log showed denied at 8:07 a.m. before the cops arrived. Karen had trespassed, failed, and then called the police. Now I had proof. Over the next few days, things escalated. Fake inspectors with iron-on vests snapped photos of my fence. Compliance notices started piling up in my mailbox. Lawn too long, unregistered electronics, you name it. It was all the same handwriting, all unsigned. Karen had gone from president to private eye overnight. The HOA started patrolling in golf carts with community watch stickers, slowing to glare at my house. My cameras caught them filming my lock. One even yelled at my kids, "You need HOA approval to use that pool." That was it for me. I filed a formal complaint with the county, evidence attached, photos, videos, the works. The county took it seriously. I spotted Karen outside that night, pacing and talking furiously on her phone. Then, the fake inspector came back, this time with some kind of scanner. My app sounded the alarm, flashing red lights, loud warnings. The guy bolted, nearly running into Karen. I sent everything to Deputy Harris. "She's crossing into harassment," he said. "Save every piece of evidence." One morning, the sheriff's cruiser parked in front of Karen's house. Through my binoculars, "Hey, curiosity." He handed her a paper, then left. Karen tore it up, kicked her trash can, switched tactics. She sent an email blast painting me as an aggressor, claiming I was threatening neighborhood unity. I replied, "The only one trespassing and forging inspection IDs is your office. Please see attached evidence." The county investigator and half the board got CC'd. That was when the dam finally broke. Neighbors started sharing stories. Bogus fines, late-night threats, secret patrols. 2 board members handed me documents showing Karen had paid the fake inspector with HOA money. Fraud, plain and simple. The next thing I know, my security system catches Karen herself, in her bathrobe at 2 a.m., screwdriver in hand, trying to hack the lock. The alarm went off. The police showed up. "We really have to stop meeting like this," Deputy Harris said. Karen screamed about community property. The body cam footage was clear: trespassing, breaking, and entering. Within a day, the video was all over Facebook. Karen, mid-scream, police lights flashing, screwdriver in hand. Comments ranged from brutal to hilarious. Neighbors who'd been scared started coming out of the woodwork. The county launched a formal investigation. Karen tried to claim the video was doctored, even as the auditors started pulling records, finding evidence of everything: fraud, fake inspections, misuse of funds. She tried one last intimidation move, but it was too late. Deputy Harris handed her a citation for trespassing and fraud at the next HOA meeting. The crowd cheered. The board suspended her, pending removal. The sense of relief was unreal. People mowed their lawns without fear. Neighbors dropped off lemonade, told jokes instead of complaints. The lock I'd installed for safety ended up exposing every rotten secret Karen had tried to keep buried. For the first time, peace wasn't just a hope, it was reality. Funny thing, though, Karen's name still comes up, not as a threat, but as a punchline. Every now and then I walk out to the pool, look at that smart lock blinking on my fence, and realize something simple. It's not just a lock. It's a reminder that sometimes all it takes is standing your ground, keeping receipts, and having the patience to let justice do its thing. So, let me ask you, what would you have done if your HOA president tried to take over your backyard with fake inspectors and late-night patrols? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about justice, control, and why a simple lock might be the best investment you ever make. And if you've survived your own neighborhood drama, share it below. We're all in this together, one fence, one story at a time.